Hello, I'm NoteKO, and in this series I'll be covering new finds for the LEGO Batman 1 any% route ever since the last tutorial for these levels were made. Today I'll be introducing two new skips for 1-4, Room 4 skip and DN skip, more commonly known as the 1-4N trigger. So what does DN stand for? The Room 4 skip is a battering up warp you can pull off by being in the pixel perfect spot. From there you can walk out of bounds on top of a wall and run out of bounds to a spot you can drop in the other player, skipping the entirety of the room. It saves about 30 seconds first try compared to collecting pieces and building the door. The other skip is the end level trigger. I'll go over this in more detail later, but basically what it is a 2D rectangle that if you pass through at the right angle immediately, will end the level. It saves your progress, continues story as well. An alternative way of ending the level, normally, if you will. The Room 4 skip starts saving time as early as Room 2. There are 8 LEGO objects you destroy for suction pieces, and in total the pieces you collect adds up to 27. But by skipping Room 4, you only need to collect the 25 necessary to proceed to the next room, and you can avoid the extra 2 that would usually help later. Now let's do a demonstration of Room 4 skip. Right before you enter Room 4, turn off Vertical Sync, V-Sync, to save some loading time. Do not destroy the machine to your left unless it's the upper part. Once there, run Robin against the wall like so and watch him slide to the right until he stops. Then turn V-Sync back on. Do a super small flick forwards and repeatedly but spaced out press the Action button, which is X on Xbox or Square on PlayStation. Soon enough, Robin should warp on top. Follow this diagram on what his running and jumping should look like. Once he's about at the second metal orb, you want him to jump straight out, and on the second jump, curve and bounce. Then follow this line standing on the closest pipe to the camera. Have Robin follow this diagonal line until you reach an invisible wall. Now run to the right of it and repeatedly press the drop-in button, while also pointing Robin's joystick to the top right. Batman should spawn in the next room. Give the game a couple seconds to try to drop Robin back in. Once he is, immediately drop him out and proceed as you would normally. Using Brickbench, I'm now showing you the developer's structure of this next room. The polygons represent collision. Here you'll see a green rectangle, which when you hit from the left, will warp you to the boss room. But if you scroll to the right, you'll see another rectangle. This is an end level trigger. There are 15 in this game, and only 12 can be hit without cheats. More about these can be seen in the description. You must hit this from the right, but there are walls that cannot be passed by any means necessary, protecting it in the boss room. Not from the previous room though. And as a result, this is what can happen. So what happened here was that Los deloaded and reloaded Room 4. I found out that if you do this, the turnstile warping you to the next room spawns its collision even though it wasn't built yet. You can then jump on the invisible turnstile onto this tree and double jump out of bounds in between the space of Room 4 and the end room. From a very small spot in the floor, you can regain jumps and angle yourself so you jump back towards the previous room and end the level. This saves an entire minute, so you don't need to do any of the Poison Ivy boss fight. The downside of this trick is that it is super difficult to hit. Not even I have been able to hit it. If a consistent setup was found, it might be viable to hit in Hero and any% story runs. So after you immediately leave Room 4 after entering it for the first time, and then re-enter it, make your way to the trees in front of this door. The turnstile will be loaded, but unmovable and invisible. With V-Sync on, jump on it, jump onto the tree right next to it, and stand between the tree and the wall on top. Repeatedly press X like you do for the room 4 skip, but do not destroy this tree. If you do, you cannot do the rest of this trick. When your character falls down, pause to untarget the tree. Then run against the wall, change VSync once, and jump to the top right. If you land on a collision, quickly try to jump backwards as you span for more jumps. These are all the new strats for 1.4 in Story. I hope you learned something new. One disclaimer I have before going for the end trigger here is, like I said, it is very difficult. I actually recommend you do the boss fight instead of skipping it until a setup is found. Anyways, until then, thank you for watching. Have a good one.